You've probably seen both sides of the internet on this. The quit your job, just take the leap side, and the don't quit or you're gonna end up broke and regret it side. This video is not either of those. I'm not here to glamorize quitting, and I'm definitely not here to scare you into staying at your job. I quit my job 4 years ago because of extreme burnout, and while that decision did change my life, it didn't fix the problem. So give me just 10 minutes and I'll help you figure out whether quitting your job is going to solve your problem or just delay it. But right before we jump in, if you could do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button below, we are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of our 119-day challenge, and we only have about 80 days left. So I want you to ask yourself what you actually think quitting your job is going to do for you. Because before I quit mine, I honestly thought it was going to completely change my life like overnight. I had 1,000,001 problems that I thought would be fixed by finally getting out of the job that I thought was causing me so much burnout and misery. But the reality is that although quitting did feel like and give me some sort of freedom, because I honestly had no direction and honestly no clue what type of freedom I was even looking for from quitting my job, I was kind of more lost than I was while I was even in it, and it took me quite a while to get anywhere. I wasn't suddenly healed. I just had more time to sit with all the stress, the self-doubt, the burnout, and also have no income combined with that. Because the thing was, quitting didn't just reset all of these issues and solve all of these problems for me. It didn't immediately heal my burnout. I had to put in the time and effort to figure out where that burnout was coming from to actually make any progress towards healing it and preventing it from just starting right back over in what is now my business. The reality is you're probably not lazy, you're probably not broken, you're just done. You're completely spent. And I know that because that's exactly how I felt. So let's talk a bit more about burnout and how I got it all wrong the first time. I initially thought that I was feeling burnt out for two specific reasons. Number one, the industry and the job that I was in, I had kind of forced and pushed myself into and didn't actually want to be in it. I was in engineering and I kind of just landed there because I was good at math and figured that would be a great job to make a lot of money really quickly out of college. And that stuff was true. It did. I got a good salary, but I was super unhappy and felt very misaligned and not passionate about the industry that I was in, which made me feel very separate from my coworkers who were very passionate themselves. Number two was that I was in the consulting industry, which was very stressful for me because it was very focused on hours and working a set number of hours and having to bill all of those specific hours to specific projects and also hit a utilization rate, and it just wasn't for me. So long story short, I thought it was just the job, the industry, the type of company I was working in, but the reality was a bit deeper than that. It was actually the habits that I had developed before even starting the job that continued throughout it and continued after I quit, of overworking, not setting any boundaries, and completely ignoring my health. And this really came full circle when just this past year I learned that I had not only a pituitary tumor but also was diagnosed with POTS, which made things make a lot more sense as to why I was feeling burnout so quickly all the time from not just my job but also my business after. So what this means is that the job is just the trigger. It is not the root cause of all of your problems. And if I'd known that earlier, I probably would have made a different decision, at least in the timing of when I decided to quit. So if you're still debating quitting your job and you just don't know if it's the right decision for you, here's a few red flags to show that you are quitting for the wrong reasons. Number one, you can't clearly explain what you're trying to escape by quitting your job. You just want out right now. Number two, you're assuming that by quitting that all of your anxiety, your stress, and your burnout is going to immediately or pretty quickly disappear. Number three, you haven't saved anything. This should be number one. Where you're just relying on this idea that, oh, things will work out, the universe will make everything fine, it's gonna be okay. And number four, you're expecting quitting to help you finally find your passion or your purpose. And it's not that these things aren't eventually going to happen or could eventually happen for you if you quit your job, because in reality, I did find my passion and more motivation after I quit, and I did eventually heal my burnout, but quitting is not the thing that actually did that for me. So before we get into what to do instead, I want to tell you a few things that I wish I had done before I quit that honestly looking back would have been smarter, and I think I would have been a lot happier and less stressed if I did these. Number one was understanding what I was actually running from, because it was not just the job that I was running from. Truly figuring out, asking myself the hard questions of why I was so unhappy in this job, why I was feeling so burnt out, and what I actually thought was going to solve that. Which leads me right into number two, which is getting your health figured out before you quit and potentially lose insurance, because insurance is expensive, and if you can use it before you quit, then you should do that. Because I think that a lot of people that are miserable in their jobs potentially either have unresolved mental health issues that they're not dealing with, or unresolved physical health issues that they have not figured out. I had both of those and am doing so much better now that I've gone through therapy and have actually been able to diagnose and treat my physical health issues. So definitely do that before you quit, because I could have saved myself a lot of money and stress, and potentially even taken a short-term or long-term leave from my job due to these health issues to give myself a bit more time and runway to understand if quitting was actually the right decision for me. And number three, which connects to number two, is I wish I had way more savings, like way more savings. Get as much money saved up as you can, like way more than you think you need. Because although I did save up a good chunk and things turned out fine, I know that I could have saved a lot more pretty quickly if I had gone like hardcore frugal mode for just like even 6 months, potentially a year before actually quitting. I basically was just taking whatever extra money we had. I wasn't trying to be any more frugal, and saved that up and then quit when I had a couple months of expenses ready to go. But yeah, if I could go back, I would save way more. So now let's get into what to do instead if quitting is not the right move for you today based off of what we just talked about a minute ago. Number one is to try part-time at your job. Ask them if they're willing to let you go at maybe 20 or 30 hours a week. If you want to have insurance and you're in the US, I think you have to be at 32 hours, but even just having one day off a week could be super beneficial for you. And if things are really bad, like if your health is really bad, then literally look into a temporary leave. Talk to your HR department, tell them you're struggling, and see if that's a possibility, because I have heard quite a few stories of people who have been able to go on a temporary leave at their job and they get like a partial income while on that leave. So they have a bit more time to focus on their health, recover, go to therapy if it's mental, and then be able to come back to work in a better state to then see if they're actually happier in their job now when they've resolved some of those other root causes that we've been talking about. Number two is to test something new outside of your job while you're still working it. I usually don't recommend this method, but if you were in the phase where you don't actually know what else you even want to do, then I definitely think it is worth it for you to actually try out some stuff outside of your job while you were still working the job versus quitting without anything in mind and just hoping you'll find some way to make money that you're happy doing. Because I actually quit without really a plan. The only plan I had was that I was going to do Instacart shopping and Rover pet sitting, and while that did work and I did make money from that, highly recommend figuring out a better plan before you quit, because yeah, I was kind of all over the place. I thought I wanted to be like a coach. I thought I wanted to do YouTube full time, and I was not ready to do any of that at all. And I think if I could have figured out a bit sooner that freelancing and being able to work with small businesses is something I wanted to do, I could have started doing that on the side to test it out, figured out that's what I enjoy doing, already kind of had an understanding of it, and then quit when I was ready to go all in and take the risk and take the leap of fully letting go of my salaried job and trying to make my freelancing my salaried thing. And if testing a bunch of different things isn't working for you, you don't even know where to start, then try this voice memo or journaling, if you're someone who likes to write, technique of asking yourself why you want to quit your job. And then keep asking yourself why and follow the why loop. So if you say to yourself, why do I want to quit my job? Or like, what is the core issue at my job? And you say, well, I'm feeling burnt out. Then you say, okay, well, why are you feeling burnt out? Because I'm working too many hours. Okay, why are you working too many hours? Because I'm not productive at work and I'm taking a lot of breaks because I work from home. Okay, why are you taking a lot of breaks while you work from home? Because I'm feeling super fatigued and tired all the time. Okay, why are you feeling so fatigued and tired all the time? That's a really good core issue to start with. Instead of starting with, I hate this job, I'm miserable at this job, ask yourself the why loop and get to a core issue. And that example I just gave was me putting myself in my own shoes from 4 years ago when I was in my job. If I could have answered that question 4 years ago, I might have diagnosed my POTS 4 years ago, realizing that my issue was fatigue. My issue was feeling tired all the time. That was making me unable to focus for 8 hours at my desk at once. If I could have solved that first, maybe I could have stayed in the job a bit longer. Overall, I'm glad that I left and so much happier with what I do now, but it would have been nice to know that ahead of time. And while you're doing all this, back to the money thing, save like you're quitting. Like even if you decide, okay, I'm probably not gonna quit for another year or two, I want you to still save like you're quitting. Go full on frugal mode, save as much as you possibly can, and continue saving as if you're gonna quit like tomorrow. I actually made a whole video on how I just saved $8,000 in just a couple of months. And I'm gonna link that down in the description for you guys below to watch after this video, because it is honestly a super helpful method. Like just go watch the video if you're struggling with saving or lowering your expenses. And the last one here is I want you to get support. And I'm not talking about just therapy support. I'm talking about finding a mentor or a coach or someone who's in a position in life that you look up to. Honestly, this issue was like the core reason I realized I needed to leave my job, because I was asked by my mentor a few times who in the company I looked up to, who I wanted to kind of like be my mentor long term, that then I could be working with to eventually kind of be in their shoes or do what they're doing in like 5 to 10 years. And there was no one at the company that I wanted to be in their shoes, not because they were like not amazing people and didn't do amazing work. I just didn't want to do that. Once I realized that, I was like, okay, this is a problem. And I started asking myself, well, who do I look up to? Who do I see? And I'm like, I want their life. I want to do their work. And then I started there and started figuring out who I could go to and who I could get to mentor me to actually get that life, which initially for me was buying a course that I don't really think I needed to buy, but it was very helpful because I did very much look up to the person that created the course. It's actually Vanessa Lau, if you're familiar with her. And number two was a friend of mine that is now like my mentor and friend that had built multiple businesses in her life and has been able to work from home, work for herself in different capacities. She's also been in corporate. So she's been the best mentor for me in this whole transition period. And I still talk to her to this day about business growth and strategy and all of that. So no matter where you are at this point, no matter what you've decided, whether I've convinced you not to quit your job yet, or you're still like, I'm quitting tomorrow, this is what I want to leave you with. Whether you leave today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, everything is going to be okay. I know it feels like it's life or death, but it truly is going to be okay. And you're not weak, you're not lazy for wanting to quit your job. It doesn't mean you never want to work. Don't let any of that negative perception of wanting to quit your job without another job lined up get into your head, because I honestly really let that mess with me. You are not lazy and you are not weak. I'm sorry, my cat is joining for this part of the video. But all of that being said, don't leave without knowing why. Otherwise, whatever the true root cause of this issue is that you're having that's leading you to want to quit your job, it's just gonna follow you to the next job or your business ventures or whatever you're trying to do after this. So if you're still considering quitting after watching this video, whether right now or in the future, then I want you to go watch this video next, where I share the 25 brutal truths that I learned after quitting my 9-to-5 job that I wish I knew before I quit. In it, I share all the things I learned the hard way, so you can just learn from me and not have to go through it too. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. What are you doing?